Series creator Hidetaki Miyazaki would frequently read books beyond his reading level as a child, leaving him to fill in the blanks of misunderstanding, which inspired the minimalistic and heavily implied story of Dark Souls. Namco has offered anyone who can summarize the Dark Souls story $10,000 to make a video on the lore. The winner, Steve Dixon, made the video Biography of the Chosen Undead, the Dark Souls story. The Crystal Lizard from Demon's Souls' model can be found within Dark Souls game files, most likely as a placeholder for the updated model used in the game. Kirk's Thorn armor is based on the Trial of 77 Rings from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Miyazaki and Daisuke Satake liked the concept and decided to add thorns to the rings. Darkmoon Nidus' armor set originally belonged to a player class known as Pagan Knight, which was removed due to balancing issues. Cut dialogue from the Artorias of the Abyss DLC implies that Artorias isn't actually human and is slowly losing control of his mind due to corruption. The crystal statues found throughout the Depths, Crystal Caves, and Duke Archives are the bodies of players who have died due to being cursed. Andre of Astoria was originally supposed to play a more pivotal role in the main story, moving a statue out of the way to let the player enter a passage to the catacombs. The possessed tree in Darkroot Garden was originally supposed to attack the player, instead of just blocking the way. Crossbreed Priscilla has unused standing and sitting animations for when she was intended to be an ally during development. 3 unused rings can be found within the Dark Souls game data: the Ring of Displacement, the Ring of Blind Ghosts, and the Ring of Condemnation. Miyazaki is a huge Harry Potter fan, which is why the Duke's Archives is based on the moving staircases in Hogwarts. The pendant gift serves no purpose in the main story and was added to trick players. However, when Miyazaki plays, he always picks it or nothing as a starting gift. Shiva of the East has unused dialogue, stating he's been looking for the Chaos Blade for ages, and if the player obtains it, Shiva will go as far as to attack the player for it. There's an unused miracle called Escape Death that would let the player die but keep their souls. It was likely removed due to making the game unbalanced by removing the consequences for death. Though Dark Souls is the spiritual successor to Demon's Souls is the spiritual successor to another game called Kingsfield, another From Software game. New Londo was formerly a city that was flooded to prevent the spread of the Abyss. While exploring the ruins, the player can encounter banshees that are clutching their babies, presumably killed in the flood. Oscar, Knight of Astoria, was originally supposed to help the player in Darkroot Garden, but instead was given a smaller role of giving the player the Estus Flask and Dungeon Key. Dark Souls was going to be called Dark Ring, but it's pretty obvious why they couldn't go with that name. It's a euphemism for a butthole. In Prepare to Die edition, the player has the chance to save Sif from the Abyss. Doing so changes the cutscene before the player fights them, portraying Sif as more hesitant to fight. The Obsidian Sword is the only area of effect ability that hits enemies on lower levels. Wearing a helmet that covers the player's face reduces arrow headshot damage. Demon Fire Sage is weak to fire damage and deals magic damage despite being on fire. Equipping the Slumbering Dragon Crest ring and attacking Go the Blind Archer will result in an easy fight, due to the ring muffling all sound the character makes. Lloyd's Talisman puts mimics to sleep, allowing players to take whatever item is in the chest. A series of unused icons, including an hourglass, yellow soapstone, and 2 different keys, are presumably used as placeholders. An alternate black eye orb was removed from the final game and was intended to be used to invade the traitor Shiva to get the stolen Chaos Blade back. Petrus of Thorolund and Rickard of Vinheim both have fully complete and functional sets of armor, despite not being attainable by regular means. Calamite originally had different proportions and color. The Bed of Chaos originally had insect-like wings and a muddy, darker palette, implying the boss would be more mobile than its final design. Black Iron Tarkus' armor and sword were described as incredibly heavy and can only be wielded by him, in reference to Guts from Berserk. There was originally a leveling system that allowed the player to remove stats in order to gain soft humanity. Out of all the hollow corpses in Dark Souls, only 10 of them are women, and one of which that isn't a specific referenced character found with twin humanities in Lower Undeadburg. Marvelous Chester was also pulled by Manus from his timeline, just like the main character. Chester describes his era as Gothic Victorian, which is the theme from another From Software title, Bloodborne. There are unused attack and death animations for Kingseeker Frompt and Darkstalker Cave, implying the characters would have been killable. This is likely removed due to Frompt being required to get to the endgame. Despite being 2 separate universes, Patches the Hyena appears in both Dark Souls and Demon's Souls, serving the same function in both games. Unused dialogue from Ingward suggests the player would have had to fight a cut boss known as the Undead King Jaril to get the key to the seal. Despite its name, the Four Kings fight can actually produce more or less than 4 kings at a time. It's possible to skip the Ceaseless Discharge fight with enough vitality, health, and fire resistance to run across the lava the boss produces. Black Iron Tarkus is one of few summoned NPCs that can actually kill a boss without any help from the player. at least on the first playthrough. Tarkus can defeat the Iron Golem while the player just sits back. Another reference to Berserk is Artorias' armor, which bears a striking resemblance to Guts' Berserk armor. A number of the bosses are skippable, like the Tauros and Capra demons, or other hidden bosses like Stray Demon and Dark Sun Gwendolyn. Unlike Demon Souls that gained its following gradually through word of mouth, Dark Souls became an instant hit, selling over 1.6 million copies within a month of its release. The Sanctus, Effigy Shield, Blood Shield, and Black Iron Great Shield were all designed from a fan contest and put in the game. Miyazaki isn't happy with how the Gwyn fight turned out. It was meant to challenge every build the player could possibly choose, but most players just exploit parrying. Many fans speculate there is a way to spare Sif and receive his sword as a reward. Cut content implies that the player could have joined a covenant with Velka, which ultimately either combined with or became the Dark Moon Covenant. Smaug was originally supposed to be one of the 4 knights, but Miyazaki liked the character so much that he made the character a heretic who wanted to join the knights. The Ancient Dragon has a series of unused animations that imply that it would have been an enemy at one point. Guinevere has a series of talkie animations where the player would kiss the back of her hand, due to Miyazaki's love for the gesture. Hey everyone, thanks for watching another 50 Fast Fact. It's been a while. I just want to let you guys know that I'm alive and well. I'm just working on some stuff behind the scenes involving a certain Switch launch title. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Until next time.